Right now, it's so cold. Right now at 17 Fahrenheit or -8 Celsius. I'm actually forced to wear a shirt for once indoors. Thankfully, this will be the coldest it will get, and according to the forecast, it gets above freezing, so a much needed dub. Unless I'm exercising, I can't be out there for 15 minutes max, freezing my feet and fingers off having to remove Christmas decorations out there. It's still pretty cold in my room at 64 or 17. That is the one downside of having lost a lot of my fat. It kept me warm, and my ability to resist the cold was much better compared to now. Back then, I could maybe max out stay out in the current weather for 35 to 40 minutes. But I'll accept this new reality if I can remain the fitness I am now. Speaking on fitness, the day I wrote my previous journal entry, a tragedy had struck. It served me well, and it will never be forgotten. May my first jump rope rest well and easy. It unfortunately snapped in two about 20 minutes into a 30-minute session. From there, I've made misstep after misstep. Bought myself a replacement, is currently falling apart, and will be surprised if it lasts a month. Then bought another, found out later that wire ropes are generally considered bad for learning tricks, which is one of the main aspects of jump rope that I enjoy, so a bit of a negative on that part. Also, tried to cut the rope, couldn't do it at first, took me about an hour to cut it, then realized it was still too long. Thankfully, however, said wire rope came with another rope, and I obviously swapped it out and just tied a knot instead. On the positive side, thank God there is one, got myself a jump rope mat, and for whatever reason, I got two more of the same jump ropes of the first replacement, and while I didn't like the feel of them, and the first replacement broke down extremely quickly, mayhaps the mat will make them last so longer when the time arises, when I do use said new ropes. There is one more rope making its way here, and everything I've seen of it seems to be of high quality, but I've made a lot of missteps, so whether the winds will change into my favor seems to remain an uncertainty until the day of reckoning comes and I get to try out these new ropes. Getting back into traditional on-paper art, as I told myself last entry, all in the sketchbook. Said page is now filled with birds. I'm going to be frank with you, don't have a particular reason why I decided to draw all birds. It just kinda happened, but it did give me an idea. The idea being more focused sketches, where I draw a specific thing rather than the randomness that I usually sketch up normally. Whether or not I can actually commit and fulfill said idea semi-consistently is yet to be determined. Could I do it weekly? I doubt it. It'd be draining on me art-wise, but every 2 weeks or monthly? That sounds certainly more possible. But enough of the idea. It's still nothing but an idea. While it hasn't been too long since I sketched, it had been a long time since I inked, and even longer since I used color pencils. Prismacolors to be specific. Inking was a little rough, if not very, and coloring was kept to a minimum, but it's probably good I start to shake off the rust now rather than later. Hopefully, I can commit to the idea to a degree and regain my bearings in traditional art. Last thing of note is that shift transfer is still up in the air, and while I'm pretty sure I've transferred, I emailed asking for clarification on the start date, which as I'm writing this, they've yet to respond. Worst case scenario, don't show up to work today, get a warning, yada yada. Best case, get clarification, and do what I gotta do. Right. Found out that Tana Steel is happening, currently the second round, so that'll be watched. But first, making breakfast, because hungry. Food now. Maybe jump rope. I don't know. We'll see. This journal entry was written on January 14th, 7 a.m.
That's the last of them. Retrieve the fragment and bring it to the chamber. I'll hail Queen Mara.